we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, good morning, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. I am Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am driving. And while I drive, I'm going to be looking at the road. And so don't take any disrespect to the fact that I'm not looking at the camera. Give me one. First of all, I want to say RIP to Chadwick Boseman from the Black Panther. He's a great actor, and apparently the brother was battling colon cancer. And I did a whole piece on that. If you want to go check that out, drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I only want intelligent black people who want to build. I don't want no ratchety Negroes on my platform. So if you're ratchety and destructive and negative and toxic and bad, then just know you're not welcome here. But if you are either intelligent or want to be more intelligent and want to be productive and positive and constructive, then I am glad to have you here. So let me just go through something I was thinking about yesterday, and I really wanted to get this out of my system because I've been watching a little bit of this show. You've heard of the show. It's called Real Housewives, and they have Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of, Real Housewives of Minnesota, Real Housewives of Conchatuka, right? They have all these Real Housewives shows, and it's like a franchise. I believe Mona Scott might be connected to it. I know she's big in the whole reality TV thing. I know she's big on Love and Hip Hop, and might have been involved with Basketball Wives. I'm not sure, but either way, I was watching, one of the shows, or a couple of them actually, and I thought that this would be time to bring out Uncle Boyce and kind of lay out some thoughts that you may want to consider. As you watch shows like this and you see what's being glorified to black people. What's being glorified to black people is something that is unhealthy, materialistic, very negative, very bad, very destructive. And I want to kind of counter that, just kind of by giving a perspective on it that will help you to kind of maybe process some of this. Now, this is not to condemn every person that's ever been on Real Housewives. For example, I'm friends with Claudia Jordan, who was on one of the shows, and shout out to Claudia Jordan, because Claudia actually left the show, if I'm not mistaken, because she didn't want to be on there fighting and doing crazy stuff. Now, and the thing is that drama makes for good TV. That's why they tend to pick the drama queens, literally, that are going to cause the most chaos. Those are the ones who end up becoming the stars, and the ones who get the, $1 million contracts and all this other stuff. But let me just kind of give you I'm going to give you 5 quick reasons actually why these women make terrible spouses. This is why you don't want to be one of these women if you're a woman, and you don't want to marry a woman like this if you're a man. And again, I throw this out with a grain of salt, and I put this out humbly. I don't pretend to know all the answers to all the questions, but I do know a couple of things because I'm 49 years old, not 29, and I've learned a few things the hard way, believe me, because we're all stupid when it comes to love. And if you want to know why I talk about these things, it's because I'm actually fascinated with financial psychology and how money affects relationships. I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking many years ago, and that led me to do a lot of research on how your relationship choices affects your financial situation, and your financial situation affects your relationship choices. That's why when I talk to my girls about money, I explain to them consistently, as a woman, you got to have your own money, you got to have your own resources, or these guys will use you. There are guys out here that will use you, abuse you, and destroy you because you can't take care of yourself. At the same time, for the boy, we tell him, watch out for the predators, because you got good people in the world and you got bad people. That's what it is. And I almost look at the bad people, I feel sorry for them, because a lot of the bad people are just traumatized. In the book Black Pain by Terry Williams, who's another friend of mine who I really respect, she wrote that hurt people hurt people. And I agree with that. A lot of the people that you see that do terrible things to other people, that are just nasty, ratchet, evil, screaming, hollering, just always playing the victim role, always trying to, but while you steadily attacking somebody, you playing the victim role. How you going to be a victim when you are acting like a predator? Seriously, you got literally have people that are predators. If you talk to almost any predator, they will try to convince you that they are actually the victim, that their predatory behavior is justified by their victimization. Give me a yes or no if you in the chat if you've seen any of this, if you've ever witnessed this. Some of these people are public. Some of these people have YouTube channels, and every story is, I'm a victim of this, I'm a victim of that, he did me wrong, she did me wrong, look at what this bitch did to me, blah, 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 blah. And the whole time you acting like a predator. Well, that's because if you talk to a lot of men also who abuse women, I had a friend who did that, who beat his wife, and he was a liar. He was a pretty bad person. And I remember one day, but we knew each other since childhood, so I knew him that way. I would not have selected him as my friend, and I eventually cut myself off from him. I have not talked to him probably in 20-something years. But anyway, I remember I asked him, and this was when I was in my 20s, or maybe 30 years old or something. I said, why do you do this? And what did you learn, like, when you were being chased by the cops for beating your wife up? Like, what did you learn from that? And you know what he said? He said, well, I need to learn how to not be dating these disloyal hoes. Like, he literally said, these women, they be disloyal, and I need to find me a loyal woman. I'm like, why would she be loyal to that? Like, you knocked her teeth out, bro. Like, there's no loyalty that should overcome, like, missing teeth. Like, are you kidding me? And also, when you talk to him, every story would end with him being the victim. Every story was, well, this is what she did to me, or this is what my mama did to me, or this is what happened to me when I was in the 4th grade. Like people like that. So predators tend to see themselves as victims, and that's why you have to watch out for predators, because a predator is not trained to take responsibility for their behavior. They feel that they're not responsible for their behavior because they were a victim, and as a victim they have justified themselves the right to do any horrible thing to another person. So they'll go and they'll stab somebody and be like, well, I only stabbed him because he hurt my feelings, right? Like that lady that ran over her boyfriend and then slammed the bumper of the car. Did anybody see that video? I don't know if y'all saw the video. I put it on my YouTube channel. This lady had ran over her boyfriend with a car, and he's laying on the ground. And I think he died. They were trying to tell me, well, Doc, he didn't actually die, so you need to get the facts right. I'm like, nigga, I'm sorry, excuse me. I need to take that back. I shouldn't have said that. That expresses how angry I was when people said this. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, you're saying that this is not a big deal because he did not die? The dude was laying on the ground, bleeding to death, unconscious, and this crazy ass woman picks up the bumper of the car and slams it on top of his lifeless body. And he was so lifeless, he didn't even move when the damn bumper got slammed on top of his head. Are you kidding me? And all you can say is, well, he didn't die. Or then you got these predatory people, but you got predatory women and men who are like, well, whatever he did, it must have been really bad. Or that's what happens. Y'all dudes don't need to be out here cheating. Y'all don't need to be out. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's nothing that a woman could do to a man that would justify a man running her over and slamming the bumper on top of her lifeless body. Nobody can sit around and be like, well, I was actually the real victim. No, you lost your moral authority as the victim when you decided to hurt somebody. So my point is to say, if you are a person who wants healthy relationships, which you should, everything we talk about with wealth and all that, you can't do that if you don't have healthy relationships. You have to have the ability to seek out healthy relationships. You have to have the ability to maintain healthy relationships, and you have to have the ability and desire to repair relationships when they go bad. Repair is very important. We lack the ability to discern, to maintain, and to repair. I can tell you, especially after I started getting out in these internet streets and dealing with some of the crazy people out here, I became very discerning. I started being really cautious. I don't let new people just become my buddy overnight. I don't want to hang out with you until I know you. I observe your behavior, and if I see anything that shows me that you have predatory instincts, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around predatory people. So, and that's because I'm trying to protect my shit. I'm trying to protect my family. I'm trying to protect my happiness. I'm trying to protect my life. I'm trying to protect my business. I'm trying to protect the people that I support. So at the end of the day, you have to have that discernment. You have to have the ability to maintain and the ability to repair. Good relationships must be sought out, because you got a lot of bad people out here. They're almost like vampires. I see evil predatory people almost like zombies that are infected with a virus. And what happens is that predatory people, they like to take their virus and they infect other people. So you're a good person, but predators are going to be attracted to you. If you're a good person, if you come off nice or quote unquote too nice, like I've been accused of that on many occasions. I had my manager say, "Boyce, you're too nice. You got to stop being nice to people. You got to stop helping these people." And I was like, damn, I don't want to not be nice. Like, I like being a nice person. I don't want to be a dick, you know. And so anyway, if you're one of those people that's too nice, what'll happen is you'll attract predators. Why will you attract predators? Because predators see themselves as victims. And people who see themselves as victims are always sitting there with their hands out asking for help. Or they're saying, I would be a better man if I just had, love. You think, oh, he would be doing so well if he just had love from his mama. Or he went to prison and it wasn't really his fault. He was just young and made some mistakes. Or he just needs somebody to love him right, and that's gonna make him better. And that's what we do. That's what us, I'm going to claim it. That's what us, like, people, the ones that get criticized for being too nice, that's what we do. We believe in the best in people. I do that. I'd be like, well, yeah, she's a little crazy, but maybe she's crazy because people are just mean to her, or because she went through something or whatever. Like, and that might be true, but at the end of the day, you cannot, you just have to be careful, because these people are vampires. They will bite you in your neck and they will infect you. They'll infect you with not just their craziness and their toxic energy and their destructive situation, but they'll infect your spirit. They might infect your spirit where you get to the point, I don't know if anybody's ever gone through this, where you're like, damn, I'm too nice. I need to learn how to be mean. I need to learn how to be an asshole like everybody else. And next thing you know, you're infected too. You become a predator. You become a bad person. And so I believe that you have to quarantine yourself and social distance. You must social distance yourself, not just from people that have the coronavirus, but some people who have the negronavirus. The negronavirus are these people that are infected with massive amounts of niggatry, probably not their fault. They're infected with niggatry. They came from their traumatic environment. They came from all the struggles of growing up in the hood. That came from being molested as a child. They came from getting their ass beat in prison, or came from just going through hard things, or getting dumped in a relationship. And my heart goes out to all the people who go through those things. But people like that, they need therapy. They need to be healed. They need to be cured. They need to be vaccinated before they start engaging with the public. Because you get a lot of sick ass people that will come in your life and will destroy it. So if you are a good person, then this is a video for you. If you're not a good person, right, and you're able to see that, just know that there's therapy out there. Like, there's help out there to help you become a healthier person. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what kind of person you become. It's also how do you interact with others in a way that is productive and allows you to achieve your goals. That's the thing. Like, you can't build empires if you're destroying. Building and destroying are two different energies. So if you're in a situation where you're around people that are destroyers, then they're gonna get in fights all the time. They're gonna want to cuss people out all the time. I worked with somebody in Hollywood once, and I remember that he didn't understand why nobody would invite him to be part of film projects. And it was because he was a narcissist. He would get really mad and go off and go ballistic and go crazy and ruin the whole project for everybody, right? So you have to really just sort of find a way to consistently focus on being around healthy people. And unfortunately, that requires some observation. So a lot of times the reason we end up in bad situations with people is because we move too fast. We trust the big button to smile. We have one great conversation and we think that person's the one. Maybe you have sex with him and you think that the sex is amazing. So next thing you know, you're strung out on some guy's penis. Like, everybody goes through an experience where they are sucked in, and then you're like, damn, like, what was I thinking? So anyway, let me go back to the Real Housewives thing. Okay, so with Real Housewives, I brought that up because that kind of represents the epitome of the absolute worst you want to seek out when it comes to relationships. Here are the 5 reasons why Real Housewives just make terrible wives. And I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about women who behave that way. And also you got men that behave that way. Like, for example, if you took the most toxic, abusive, selfish, horrible men, if you consider the most toxic, abusive, selfish, horrible men that you can think of, just a real bastard of an asshole, and you put high heels and a dress on that man with a wig and gave him a vagina, he would become a Real Housewife. Like, seriously, if you took the most horrible man and Tiny from the guy that played Tiny, the big bully from the movie Friday, and you put wigs and a dress on him and gave him a vagina, he would be a Real Housewife. Like, these women are the equivalent. Women like this are the equivalent of abusive, toxic men. And I think it's important for men to understand that, because what happens is we believe the only predators in the world are men, and that women can't be predators, and that's just not true. Cardi B, shout out to Cardi B, because she actually gave you the secrets. Cardi B told you about some of the toxic things she used to do. And I remember I talked to a lady one time about the stripper culture and some of the stuff that was happening, like how they were setting men up. Like they would just take advantage of the fact that men can be stupid when it comes to like pretty girls. So they basically knew that, like, if an athlete or a rapper came to town and he had a lot of money, they would study him. They would research him like Rhodes scholars. Like, they would study him like they were at the Mayo Clinic studying, lab animals, or doing clinical trials at Johns Hopkins Hospital, like little scientists, little hoe-ass scientists. And they would study this dude and know everything about him. They knew what he liked to drink. They knew who he, what he liked to talk about. They knew how much money he had, how much he signed for on his last contract. And they would set him up with a jump off. They would just put a pretty girl that looked good and looked innocent in front of him, and they would lure him back to the hotel. And then they would use those Cardi B date rape drugs, and they would drug him so that they could then rob him. And then when they woke him up, they would extort him. They would put up a 15-year-old girl in the bed, take pictures, and they would threaten and say, we're going to send these pictures, if you don't give us money right now, we're going to send these pictures to the media, to your NFL team, and also to your spouse. And that's how they would hem up these dudes and get money from them. And some of the guys would not pay the money. Next thing you know, he's on TV for being a predator. So basically, you've got predatory people of both genders. Just never believe the hype that only men are the only predators. That's just not true. So the Real Housewives are interesting for a few reasons. These are the reasons why. Like just be clear. I'm not a broke man. I'm a man who's made some money in his life. And when I was single, I met a lot of women. I didn't date a ton of women because I tried to be very discerning. I didn't want to get caught up in no bullshit. But I meet a lot of beautiful black women, and they'd be very, tempting and really intelligent and stuff like that. And the thing is, I could probably date a woman who was similar to the women on the Real Housewives. Like, I met women like that, women that wanted to be next to a man that they perceived to have some power or some money or whatever, right? So, but they don't understand. Like, the minute I saw that kind of behavior in you, it was an absolute immediate turnoff. And let me tell you why. If you look at women, that the Real Housewives type women, they tend to be very shallow. Shallow is not attractive. Shallow means you don't know your sense of purpose. You don't really know who you are. You're focused on what people think. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're focused on materialistic bullshit, and that's not interesting to me. I believe money's important, but I believe money's important for very deep reasons. Money's related to your liberation. It's related to your peace of mind. It's related to your security of your family. Money is not something that you only use so you can buy a Ferrari and a Gucci purse. If that's all you can see in terms of the value of money, then you don't understand what money really does, what money's supposed to do for you. So that was a turnoff. Shallow was not interesting. The opposite of shallow is deep. So I'm not just going to give you the critique. I'm actually give you the constructive aspect of the critique. So we'll talk about the dark side and the light side. So the opposite of shallow is deep. So for me personally, I like the women that had depth, that might be pretty, but also knew that there was much more to them than just what they look like. Not the average girl in your video, that type of thing, where it's like, yeah, sure, everybody likes a big butt and a smile or whatever it is that you got going on, but it's sort of like, okay, are you a one-dimensional cartoon character, or are you a multi-dimensional goddess? Just a great woman that a man would want to be around. That was always appealing. I think that's what you want to look for. Number two, they're spoiled. The Real Housewives type women are very spoiled. Spoiled is when I think about spoiled, I think about somebody who is almost like a drug addict. Like, drug addicts, use a lot of drugs because their resistance to the drugs is very high. So they have a hard time getting a good hit from a drug. So they need a lot of the drug in order to keep going. They need the drug in order to function. So for a lot of these women, their spoiledness partly comes from a really strong financial addiction. So they don't, so you buy that lady a $5,000 diamond ring, she ain't gonna be happy. She wants the $20,000 ring. You buy her, the $3,000 Gucci purse, she's mad because she wanted the $40,000 Land Rover. You tell her you want to do a $20,000 wedding. She's pissed because she wants to do the $100,000 wedding. And then when she gets mad, she's going to start screaming and hollering and going crazy and getting mad at you and not speaking to you for days at a time. All because you were willing to only spend $5,000 on her instead of $25,000. Now, mind you, I had money. I could spend money on women, but I didn't like. I never. It was always a turnoff for somebody to just be that obsessed with money that they would allow money to overlap in terms of how they feel about you as a person. You don't want to get a woman like that. I think men. I think that because we get so caught up in the package, you know, we like the packaging of a woman that we forget about sort of looking at. Okay, are you dealing with a spoiled brat? You know, the opposite of a spoiled woman is a down to earth woman. You know, a ride or die type woman, a woman who can handle, you know, the fact that life has some disappointments, who can handle the fact that sometimes she won't get what she wants. You know, that's it. Like, you know, a woman who always feels like she's supposed to always get what she wants, that's a fucking narcissist, man. That's a female version of a Donald Trump. That's a female version of just just like a really toxic sort of man who never listens to anybody and doesn't care about anybody else's opinion, doesn't care about anybody else's feelings. That's an emotionally selfish human being. You do not want to be around an emotionally selfish human being. You want to be around somebody who understands the concept of family. The nature of family, the term family by its very nature implies the ability to think about people beyond yourself. If all you can think about is yourself, then you're not cut out for family. You need to go sit over in the corner all by your damn self, or become a hooker, or whatever it is you want to do, because don't nobody want to build a family with a narcissist. That is no fun, male or female. Number 3, the housewives, the Real Housewives type women, they don't bring anything to the table. They got that Cardi B mentality. You know, Cardi B said, I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me show you how I got this ring, right? So what are they bringing? They're bringing that WAP, and they're bringing maybe, you know, some good looks or whatever, and they think that that's enough. Like, they really think if I look good, and maybe if I turn some flips in the bedroom, that's all I need to do. That's all I need to bring to the table. Well, first of all, sex is cheap. I mean, Cardi B, you can thank the Cardis and the Megans or whatever for making sex cheap. Basically, Cardi's like, look, if you got, you know, a pocket full of, you know, $10 bills, you can get access to all of this, right? So so honestly, I think that for women, when I talk to my daughters about men and sex or whatever, I say, don't try to compete on just sex. Like, sex matters. It's very important. Sex is great. Don't get me wrong. But you can't just compete on sex because it's a race to the bottom. It's a race to see who's the biggest hoe. Seriously, that's all. It's a race to the fucking bottom. That's what the fuck it is. When you got women mass marketing the idea that you should give up your precious black female womb, you literally, that is where you launch kings and queens out of that thing. Like kings and queens come out of your womb. You're giving some dirty ass dude access to your vagina, all because he took you to Taco Bell and got you some cheddar biscuits and Red Lobster. Are you serious? So you cannot just compete on sex. That's my thought. Honestly, this is Uncle Boyce talking. My advice to ladies is don't try to just compete on sex. I mean, you know, like, if you got to learn a couple things, like, yeah, absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. Men appreciate that. But I found that when a woman, it's almost like in business, in economics, you have what they call monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is this. It's where you might be trying to do something that a lot of people are doing, right? Like, if you know how to drop it like it's hot, if you know how to, if you look good, then, you know, then that's gonna get you some attention, right? Like, a lot of men are like, yeah, ooh, look at that, ooh, girl, that was the best sex ever, right? But that puts you in the competition, which is good. You got to compete. But monopolistic competition is where you form a monopoly, where you only have, you're not competing with anybody because you create something about yourself that is incredibly unique that he can't find anywhere else. That's, to me, honestly, I think that's what makes a man fall in love with a woman. Like, think about this, fellas. Please confirm if you agree with this. Have you ever seen a guy who could have any girl he wanted, but there's only one girl that he wants to see? Like, he can't focus on, like all these pretty girls are around him, and all of them offering him sex, but he's thinking about some girl that doesn't even want him anymore. You know, I honestly, I believe a lot of that is because she has engaged in that monopolistic competition. She's created a space in his reality that is uniquely hers, that nobody else can replace. that nobody else can replace. There's no woman on the, he could have 10 million women, but none of those women can match to that one woman that he wants. And that comes from, I think, offering something that is unique and special about you. Maybe it just comes from understanding him really well, being a good listener. Maybe it comes from the fact that you went through some things together. Maybe it comes from the fact that you stood by him during a difficult situation. But smart men, I believe, are going to value that woman above all the WAP that's out here. WAP is everywhere. I told you WAP is cheap. WAP is like $1.50 a pound, like cheaper. You could buy cheap steak at the grocery store for about the same price that you can get a lot of this WAP that's out here. So do not fall for the hype. Seriously, the hoes ain't winning. The hoes ain't winning. The hoes are just in a race to the bottom. What's the next thing? The third. So we mentioned 3 reasons why Real Housewife type women do not make good spouses. One was that they're spoiled, they're shallow, they don't bring anything to the table. They're also very wimpy in relationships. They don't have that durability that's required to make a love last. So when you talk about, remember New Edition had that song, you know, tell me baby, can you stand the rain? Well, spoiled ass, weak ass women can't stand the rain. They don't want to get wet. You get them, they get one drop of rain on their body, they're gonna go running for the hills. They're not gonna last in a relationship. I personally think that you, honestly, one thing that's a good sign that a woman can maybe have some durability is if she's witnessed a durable relationship. Like, you know, like for example, I watched my parents stay married for 46 years. And I saw them go through hell in order to do that. So I don't fantasize about what it means to be in a relationship. I don't have a fantasy. There's no fantasy. I've seen the realities of it and the hell that you sometimes have to walk through in order to make it last. So I think that's a good sign. But then a lot of women, unfortunately, the reality is that most of our girls and our children don't grow up with 2 parents in the house, right? They don't grow up with the mother and the father. So if she does have, a situation where things didn't work out with her mother and her father, did she maybe get some therapy to deal with any unresolved issues, or did she get a chance to witness what it takes to get through a relationship? Or another good way, this is kind of nerdy, but it works, is maybe you can study it together. Like, I believe people that get married should take a class on what it means to be married. I think people should get a coach, a marriage relationship coach, to help you get through your bullshit, because you can't solve these problems by yourself. I also believe you should read a book, watch videos, go subscribe to a YouTube channel on relationship therapy. Just do something that's going to help you solve those little problems, because the biggest way to destroy your wealth is through divorce. And if you watch these Real Housewives shows, most of the women on those shows are divorced. Most of those women on those shows are not married to anybody. So at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, okay, why in the hell would I want to take relationship advice from somebody who don't know how to handle a relationship? Seriously, why in the world would you want to learn anything about relationships or how to carry yourself from a bunch of women that can't even stay married to their men? Now, at the same time, though, maybe the men that they picked were garbage too, right? So this is not anti-woman at all. This is not me pointing just out at them, right? Because in fact, a lot of it's really coming down to people, good people, male or female, protecting yourself from bad people. Believe me, the more you are a good person, the more you will attract bad people. The more you have to give, the more you will attract takers, right? But the best situation is when you are a giver and you're in a relationship with a bigger giver. Like that's a beautiful situation, because then you just create this massive economy of giving. Like I think I understand a lot about love in relationships, because actually a lot of the way relationships work is actually similar to how you model an economy. An economy is built on trust, it's built on giving, it's built on mutual support across the board. Businesses go spend money and they invest in workers. Workers then go spend money at the businesses. Banks, they give loans to the businesses so the businesses can expand. That's how you build an economy. And what kills an economy is when you have fear, a lack of trust, or you have people that are just taking and not giving anything. So in a relationship, if you want your relationship to die, then get with a taker who will just drain you and take from you, and then you'll have nothing to give. You'll literally walk away from that relationship so depleted that you're not even able to give to the next person, because everything that you were, everything that you had was taken away. Don't put yourself in that situation. Next, the last reason why the Real Housewife types are not are not good for relationships. And I'm talking about not just the women on the show. I'm talking about just people that behave this way, period, male or female. This is not just a woman specific thing, but it just happens to be a show about women. Is they're very volatile, very volatile. Like, you know, the women get invited on that show largely because they like drama. They like to fight. They want to stab a chick over a bowl of Cheerios. You look at them funny. They want to destroy your whole life. They're very volatile. They get pissed off very easily, and they just stay mad at each other. There is no such thing as sisterhood on shows like that most of the time, which makes me feel very sorry for the women that are on there as well as the men that married them. Volatile people in general are very difficult to build with. The opposite of volatility is a person who is just cool, calm, and relaxed, who can handle situations and not freak out, who's not gonna go for, you know, go ballistic and go nuclear on every situation, who ain't trying to go off on you or attack you because they're a little bit triggered. And people that tend to be volatile are people that have typically been through trauma, or they have, you know, PTSD. A therapist put me onto this, that a lot of black people have PTSD. We think of this as typically being associated with soldiers, but it's not just soldiers. There's a lot of people that just have PTSD from growing up in the hood. Maybe they went through, you know, something in childhood that caused them to have PTSD. And if you're in this category, you know, get you some help. There's a lot of help out there. There's people that you can talk to that'll help you learn what your triggers are, so that your triggers don't destroy everything that you love. Because at the end of the day, that volatile, crazy, screaming, hollering type person is very unhappy on the inside, and then they don't understand why they're chopping off their limbs and trying to walk. Right? You know, literally, when you're going through life and you're constantly cutting people off, constantly fighting with people, constantly going off on people, constantly alienating people, you wake up one day and you look around and there's nobody there. And so in order to, again, be healthy, happy, to build, to be prosperous, to be successful, you must learn those three things. This is the last lesson from Uncle Boyce, Dr. Boyce. One, be able to discern quality people that are going to add value to your life, and keep your social distance from the vampires. The vampires are the people that are going to take away from you. The more success you have, the more takers you're going to attract. There was a time where I had literally 9 people a week asking to borrow money. I had 20 people a week, 30 people a week asking for a favor. And some of it I can accept because it comes to the territory, but there's some types of energy I'm just not participating in on any level. I'm not even going to have a conversation with you if I pick that vibe up on you. The second thing you want to do is maintain good relationships. When you have good people in your space, you know, nurture those relationships. Relationships are like flowers. You got to water your damn flowers. Or if you have a pet, you got to feed your pet. Feed the dog. You know, take care of it. You know, wash the dog. You got a nice car. You take care of your nice car. So a nice relationship, take care of that relationship. Keep investing in that relationship and build on that. The third component is learning repair. When your car breaks down, you take it to the shop. When you get sick, you go to the doctor, right? So when the relationship goes bad, or something goes wrong, or there's a misunderstanding, or there's an issue, there are tools and tips that exist right now that you can find on YouTube, if you Google it, that will give you some strategies on how to repair relationships. So you get pissed off because your girl, you know, said something that made you mad or hurt your feelings, and you want to just like go crazy and go ballistic and escalate and all that. No. Go to the repair kit. Go to the repair kit. I swear to God, they have I don't know what they are. They have the me and Alicia have a relationship coach. I just want y'all to know that we have somebody that helps us to make sure we get over our bullshit. I don't care who you are. Everybody's got their bullshit. Everybody's got their triggers. I think especially when you're black, because I do believe that being black is hard, but it's full of opportunities, but it's hard. And he gave us like these 4 horsemen. I forgot what they were. Once I find them, I'm going to actually talk to you guys about it. But if you look up the 4 horsemen of an argument, go Google that right now, and that will help you resolve a lot of your relationship conflicts. I kid you not. So there are tools and tips out there that you can use to maintain healthy relationships, but you got to be also dealing with a healthy person. That's where the discernment comes into play, because it's easier to repair with somebody who wants to repair with you. If you're trying to repair with somebody who doesn't give a shit, that's a terrible feeling. And so try to play chess, not checkers, with your life. You know, don't get caught up in bad situations with bad people. Try to if going to be in a bad situation, at least try to be in a bad situation with a good person, right? A good teammate. Well, why does this stuff matter? Why do I talk about this stuff? Well, because if you're talking about trying to go out here and build businesses and build wealth and build capital, what good is it if you marry some ridiculous, shitty human being, male or female? You marry some ridiculous man or ridiculous woman who causes chaos in your life, get you fired from your job because they acted a damn fool over every little issue or whatever, and then they divorce you and take half of your shit. Why in the world would you work your ass off your whole entire life to build anything if you are inside that house you built with somebody who loves to destroy things? Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So I hope that this helps you. This was on my spirit. I wanted to share this because I assume somebody out there might be listening that can benefit from this information. I wish I'd known this when I was 22 years old. It would have helped me avoid a lot of problems. I learned a lot of these things the hard way, and I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, think carefully about avoiding the vampires. Bring people in your life that are healthy. Social distance from the people that will infect you with the negatory that exists all throughout our society. So take care, guys. Have a good day. And I'm going to get out of here. I'm actually on my way to a funeral, unfortunately. But also, if you're interested in looking at some of the stuff that we have, we actually made a movie about relationships with a bunch of therapists, and we have a whole training program on that. If you want to go take a look, it's theblackloveblueprint.com. THE, that's theblackloveblueprint.com. You also get a free copy of my book, Financial Lovemaking, and all kinds of stuff. So feel free to go to theblackloveblueprint.com. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down.